The night was thick with an eerie silence as the moon cast a pale glow over the desolate waters. The ship, once a grand vessel of luxury, now sailed through the fog like a ghost in itself. The air was damp and cold, seeping through the bones of those unfortunate souls who found themselves aboard the forsaken vessel. The group of strangers, a mix of passengers and crew, had awakened to an unsettling reality. None of them could recall how they arrived on this ship, and the once familiar surroundings seemed twisted and distorted. The halls echoed with the creaking of the ship's timeworn frame, creating an unsettling symphony of groans and moans. As the group gathered in the dimly lit common area, anxiety hung in the air like a heavy fog. They exchanged fearful glances, searching for answers that eluded them. A sense of foreboding settled upon them as they realized that something was terribly wrong. Among the passengers were Jake, a software engineer in his mid-30s, Sarah, a nurse with a kind heart, Richard, an elderly war veteran, Emma, a teenager traveling with her parents, and Captain Williams, the ship's former captain who couldn't make sense of the current state of his vessel. As they navigated the dimly lit corridors, strange occurrences began to unfold. Elevators defied the laws of physics, taking passengers down 3 floors only to open onto the same floor they departed from. Unsettling whispers echoed through the halls, each voice distinct yet untraceable. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, leaving them constantly on edge. The ship itself seemed to be alive, its ancient timbers creaking and groaning with a malevolent intent. As the group delved deeper into the labyrinthine passageways, they stumbled upon a forgotten ballroom adorned with decaying grandeur. Tattered curtains swayed ominously, and an ancient gramophone played a haunting melody that echoed through the desolate space. The first encounter with the unseen entity came as a shock. Emma, the teenage girl, wandered off on her own, lured by the distant strains of the mysterious music. As her parents frantically searched for her, a blood-curdling scream pierced the air. Rushing toward the source, they found Emma's lifeless body, her eyes wide with terror. From that moment, the ship became a hunting ground for an entity that seemed to transcend the boundaries of the living. Each victim met a gruesome end, their demise accompanied by inexplicable phenomena: flickering lights, disembodied whispers, and doors slamming shut on their own accord. Suspicion and fear infected the remaining survivors. The once united group now fractured as they turned on each other, suspecting that one among them was somehow connected to the malevolent force. Paranoia festered, feeding the unseen entity's insatiable appetite for fear. Captain Williams, desperate to regain control, gathered the survivors in the ship's bridge. The air in the room was heavy with tension as they attempted to formulate a plan. Richard, the war veteran, suggested a ritual he claimed was used to ward off malevolent spirits during his time in the service. As the survivors hesitantly followed the ritual, an otherworldly force manifested in the room. Shadowy tendrils slithered across the walls, and a chilling voice echoed through the chamber, mocking their feeble attempts at defiance. The ritual seemed to anger the entity, intensifying its malevolence. The survivors, now on the brink of despair, faced the grim reality that escape might be impossible. The ship, a labyrinth of nightmares, conspired against them at every turn. The entity picked them off one by one, leaving behind a trail of death and terror. In the final throes of desperation, the survivors stumbled upon the ship's forgotten cargo hold. As they cautiously descended into the bowels of the vessel, they discovered a room filled with ancient artifacts and relics. Among the dusty crates, they found a weathered journal belonging to a long-forgotten sailor. The journal chronicled the ship's cursed history, revealing a dark secret that bound the vessel to an otherworldly dimension. The ship had become a vessel for lost souls, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. The entity that hunted them was a manifestation of the ship's malevolent past, seeking to claim more souls to add to its cursed crew. Armed with this newfound knowledge, the survivors faced the choice: succumb to the entity's relentless pursuit or attempt to break the curse that bound the ship to its nightmarish fate. With grim determination, they embarked on a perilous journey to unravel the mysteries hidden within the ship's haunted corridors. As they delved deeper into the ship's history, the survivors faced increasingly surreal and twisted challenges. Rooms transformed into nightmarish landscapes, defying the laws of reality. Time itself seemed to warp and twist, leaving them disoriented and helpless. In a climactic confrontation, the survivors found themselves in the ship's dilapidated engine room. The air pulsed with an otherworldly energy as the entity materialized before them. A grotesque amalgamation of lost souls, its form shifted and contorted, embodying the collective agony of those trapped within the cursed vessel. The survivors, armed with the knowledge gleaned from the journal, confronted the entity with a desperate plea for release. They recited ancient incantations and performed a ritual to sever the ties that bound the ship to its cursed existence. The air crackled with energy as the ship groaned and trembled, resisting the attempt to break free from its haunted past. In a blinding burst of ethereal light, the entity wailed in anguish as the curse began to unravel. The ship itself convulsed, releasing a torrent of supernatural energy that threatened to consume everything in its wake. The survivors clung to each other, their fates hanging in the balance. As the chaos subsided, the survivors found themselves standing on the now still deck of the ship. The fog that had shrouded the vessel lifted, revealing the moonlit sea stretching to the horizon. The once malevolent entity had dissipated, leaving behind a sense of eerie calm. The survivors, battered and scarred by their harrowing ordeal, gazed out at the open sea. The cursed ship, now free from the shackles of its haunted past, sailed into the night, disappearing into the mist. The survivors, forever changed by their nightmarish experience, clung to the hope that they had escaped the clutches of the supernatural and could finally return to the realm of the living. As they stepped onto the solid ground of the harbor, the survivors cast one last look at the receding silhouette of the ghost ship. The echoes of the otherworldly ordeal lingered in their minds, a haunting reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead. The ship, now lost to the sea, left behind a tale of horror that would forever be etched into the memories of those who had dared to venture into its haunted depths.